Oh, hello there. Yes, well, we're solidly into February, I'm pleased to say. I've even got flowers in my garden. Not quite sure what that's about. Anyway, this weekend we had the full might of conservative media pummeling stuff at us, and there wasn't really a lot on offer, I must admit. Mark Littlewood is going to launch a new grassroots conservative campaign called PopCon UK, Popular Conservatism, because apparently if people are just given Thatcherite policies, they'll definitely vote for them, and they definitely will vote Conservative. Anyway, grassroots campaign, you know what I'm going to say about grassroots campaign. Yes, it's going to be launched this week. Big do with Liz Truss and Nigel Farage, but just about ordinary people, obviously, yes. I imagine it's to do with tax cuts. Problem being, of course, that Margaret Thatcher didn't actually manage particularly to do those tax cuts, not without devastating British industry and selling everything off, which is basically where the tax cuts came from. There's nothing left to sell, Mark. Okay, we have noticed, which brings us on neatly to the Conservatives' problem, because if you watched any right-wing scant stuff this weekend, please, dear God, do something else at the weekend. I'd do it for you. Anyway, if you watched any of this stuff, you will have probably been as amused as I was with just the intensity of where we are now in terms of what's supposed to be mainstream political thought. So DB News had the delightful Belinda on, who apparently was talking about pedophiles. I don't know, people into feet, something like that. Anyway, just that sort of notion that we need to just have very harsh laws against everybody that's not like us. And again on GB News, I managed to have a people's panel live from Grays, and they had three blokes there. I presume these blokes are the people that have actually paid their membership at a top tier into GB News. So we had the full gamut of everyone from a 60-plus year old bald white guy to a 60-plus year old not particularly bald white guy. Yeah, all three of them. People's panel. You can see the breadth of vision there. But what we're about here, of course, is we're being presented with this extremely sort of proto-fascist, quasi-fascist, actually fascist stuff, aren't we? And the BNP this weekend complained that the Conservatives have nicked some of their policies. They haven't just nicked some of your policies, mate. They've nicked all of them. If you look at a BNP or National Front manifesto from the 70s or 80s, it's actually more radical than the mainstream Conservative Party is at the moment. Okay, if you're to the right of the BNP, you might be a little bit right-wing, yeah? I think I'm entitled to call you fascists at that point, simply because the BNP can trace themselves back to the National Front, and the Neo-National Front can trace themselves back to Mosley and the Black Shirts. So I don't think I'm really causing anyone distress if I manage to say that. But that's where we are at the moment, of course. This election will be based on trying desperately to make you think that if they can come in once more and bring in all of these laws against everybody else, not you, of course not you, because you're precious, but everybody else, that everything will be fine. However, I do have my doubts, and I do find myself drawn towards the Tory old guard. If you can, watch this video down below. Ken Clarke, alright, voice of sanity in the Lords, who's basically brilliantly takes apart the Rwanda policy. This is a government that will quite happily legislate about the nature of reality. You know, all those gender critical dykes that will tell you, oh, well, they're just going to bring in these laws saying that black is white and cats are dogs. Well, they're doing it already with Rwanda. And if they can do it there, they'll do it with everything else. And they will legislate you out of existence. They don't have a problem with brown people. They have a problem with you. And they may well come for you next. Anyway, do have a lovely Monday, if you can.